So number 3 on the QR code review gives us a word problem about manufacturing handheld video games. And it says the revenue function is given by R of P is equal to negative 25P squared plus 1200P. And this is in, P is measured in thousands of dollars, or sorry, revenue is measured in thousands of dollars. And P is just measured in dollars, per unit in dollars. So part A is asking us, what's the difference in the revenue between selling our games at 20 bucks versus selling our games at 30 bucks. So for part A, it's just asking you to plug in and get the value out. So R of 20 is going to be negative 25 times 20 squared plus 1200 times 20. Now, if you plug that in your calculator, you're going to get 14,000. But remember, you want to multiply this by 1,000 because it says R of P is measured in thousands. So that's going to give you a value of 14 million. So that's your first answer, okay? So you would generate a revenue of $14 million if you sold your video games at 20 bucks each. What would happen if you sold them at 30 bucks each? Well, again, you want R of 30. So negative 25 times 30 squared plus 1200 times 30. Again, plug that into your calculator and you would get 13,500. And then we're gonna multiply by 1,000 because again, it said that this is measured in thousands. So that would give you 13,500,000. Now, what's the difference? It's asking, what's the difference in the revenue? Well, the difference between 14,000 and 13,500 is just $500,000. So you are getting, if you actually sell your games at $20 versus $30, you're actually making more money. So you make $500,000 more. So then that begs the question for part B, like, well, then how much should we be selling these things at to maximize our revenue stream? So if you think about what the graph is doing something like this, and we want to figure out the maximum height, because after all, this is a quadratic. We know it opens down because A is negative. So we want that maximum height. So I'm going to do negative B over 2A, and that's going to give me the X location, and that's going to give me the P value, and then the Y is going to give me the R of P value. So negative B over 2A looks like negative 1200 over 2 times negative 25. Again, plugging that into your calculator, you would get negative 1200 over negative 50, which would give you 24. So not $20, not $30, you should be selling these things for $24. That's this part on the graph. That's the P value. That's the price per unit. Then the question's asking, well, what's the revenue from that? So you're gonna go ahead and reevaluate your function at 24. So negative 25 times 24 squared plus 1200 times 24. Again, if you plug that into your calculator and do it correctly, you should see 14,400. But again, we're gonna multiply by 1,000 because it says revenue is measured in thousands. So that's going to give you $14,400,000. So that's the price you should be selling your PlayStations at, or whatever they're called, the handheld units, to create the most revenue. So not 20 bucks, not 30 bucks, but 24 bucks actually gives you the most revenue. Okay, that's how you do number 3.